Right, welcome back to update number 2 for September. We're back in the Galley module area with Scotty. This is the cabinet that covers over our fridge. So remember I said it was a yucky colour, so we're going to cover it in silky oak. I'll just run through the mechanism and that we're using on this. So this is what's called the pocket door, and you'll see all the slides and everything in there. Right, now, one thing, we've got soft close on there, so it goes to about there and then it slowly closes on its own, which is nice. Open it right up, and then it's a pocket door because it slides back into the cavity there like that. Because you've got to remember, we've got a French door fridge here, so we've got 2 upper and 2 lower doors. We couldn't put the hinge mechanism for the cabinet on the fridge because we've got 4 doors, and you need to be able to open the doors and then open the fridge doors. So one of the issues, there's a few issues you've got to overcome. So one of the main ones was that when the fridge is in place, the fridge door has to open. It's got to go past 90 degrees so that you actually get the drawers and things like that out. So that's about flush there, and that's why at the moment we're going to put the fridge in and check it, but basically we've got our angle here in order to have the fridge sitting in here and the doors open, and you can actually get stuff in and out of the fridge. So there's a little bit of setup still to go on this one, but you get an idea of what we're doing. The other benefit too is that being pocket doors, they slide away. So, you know, on a boat, particularly of this size, the galley is small, okay? And you don't want to have 2 big doors swinging out here that you've got to walk around because our kitchen bench is on the other side. So it's going to work. We just got to set it up a little bit more. Then that'll go down for polishing and get filled and clear coated, and then we'll install it on the boat. This is the other panel, which goes on the side here. So you'll see it comes around. We've also got air conditioning, return air and ventilation for the fridge. So the ventilation will be in the top here. So you will see a duct up here and a grill. And then there's going to be another one here, which is our return air for the air conditioning. Scotty's working on that just there. You'll see the cutout there for the grill. So you just cut a beautiful big hole in our silky oak veneer, but that's what's got to happen. So that'll be set up with louvers, a bit like this one here. You can see behind the window frames there. And then what we're most likely going to do, so that'll be all clear coated because it's silky oak. Behind it we'll use, we'll make a slotted aluminium grill. We'll powder coat that black and it'll offset. So basically what happens is you've got the silky oak grill like that, the black one sits behind it, and then you can't actually see through. I mean, my fingers are bent, but the idea being that you won't be able to see through, but the air will be able to get in and out. So that's what we're going to do there. It's a little bit neater than having mesh and filters and all this sort of crap on there as well. Okay, in a minute we're going to go up onto the vessel and have a look in the salon, but these here are the bookcases that go on each end of the L-shaped lounge. You can see all done in silky oak. We've got to scribe them in so when they're installed. For those with the eye for detail, you see little gaps there. That's only because these are not glued down yet, so that's why you can see the lines, the gaps here. But that'll all get secured and glued, and then you won't notice any of that. Again, solid silky oak edges or corners, and then veneer on the inserts. So what we'll do is we'll go up onto the vessel and we'll start in the saloon and we'll do a walkthrough, show you what's been going on. Right, well, welcome back. I'll let the big fella through. Come through, Damien. So now we're back in the salon area. I want to spin you around, have a look here. So I can't remember the last time. So we blacked all of this out. This is our automated door mechanism. So it'll have a belt drive, which is connected up through here, runs through a carriage, and then you can see it connects up to the cogs on the actual drive unit up there. So the idea is that there'll be a button here on the bulkhead. You press the button, the door slides open, and you can walk in and out. And you've got another button here on the exterior which you can press to open and close the door as well. The door's going to be this wide. I think we showed you a mock-up of that a while back. I've got to apologise for the noise. We normally shoot at lunchtime when everyone's having a break, but we're a bit earlier today, so we've got a bit of noise in the background there. We recently finished this here. So this is the kicker that's all been gloss coated. I'll try and show you a little bit of that without too much. So you'll see that's all been finished. So we just put protection on that. We haven't done the top part because that's actually getting fabric padded. So this section here has a pad go on it. And remember that's all the return air for the air conditioning. And if you want to look over on the other side here, what we're going to do is we're going to have 2 compartments for storage in this side of the lounge. This section here is going to be over the top of that. So that's the basin that we've made for the fan unit for the air conditioner. So that's totally sealed. It's designed to get the pan off the deck, and then where the green tape is, there's actually a provision there for a recessed skin fitting, so we can have a drain there. Because again, in our experience, the drains clog up and they can overflow, and if you don't keep an eye on them, and then you get water. You'll rot and what have you going through your boat, so we don't want that to happen. So we made these save-all type wells for all of the air conditioners right through the boat. You can see forward, you've got the filler and the breather for the fuel tank there, for the port side tank, and there's a bit of ducting there for electricity. That's probably about the only bit of plastic ducting in the whole boat. Everything else is powder coated aluminium. We've got our bulkheads done here, and this side here as well. That's actually, these are glossed already. There's the other fan unit there. You can see the air conditioner. That's all getting plumbed in. There's a little bit more to go still. That's Johnny's fancy machine there that does the flaring of the hose fittings because it's a chilled water system. That's the actual pipe, one of them, and that's got aluminium plastic. Bends with memory, so it stays back I'll just start again. You bend it, it stays the way you bent it. There's a machine that puts the swages on the end of it, and then everything gets insulated with this, so that way you don't get any condensation and water dripping through the boat. So it's all got to be done. We've had special clamps and stuff made up to secure that all through the boat. It's all been done nice. We've got isolation valves on every unit so you can maintain it. And remember, we've got the cabinets that all go down through here, so it'll be a little low cabinet, big cabinet, TV behind it, another low cabinet bookcase with a higher cabinet through here, which will run all the way to this bulkhead here. And that's all been done in silky oak with a nice Corian top on it. Moving forward, just to show you, we've been working in the wheelhouse actually. So the galley sort of, we showed you downstairs the fridge unit which goes in here. So we've got the bulkhead that comes out and the other partition that comes out from here. We've got provision for the air conditioning, which has got one there where the hole is, and there'll be another one just aft towards the breakfast bar. That's where the air ducts are going to come down to provide cooling air. Come through, Johnny. Another one. We've got a bit of the galley sort of stuck in here at the moment, a bit of the wheelhouse. That's the vents, so that's the ducting that goes, or the vents units that go under the wheelhouse windows. You can see the insulation we were talking about before, which we put in there. So that's all been sealed with Everdur, so we don't have any exposed raw timber. It's all going to be encapsulated either in clear coat or it's going to be Everdur epoxy. We do not want water getting into any of it and swelling it up, and we want the boat to last for 100 years. Moving through here, we've started to tidy this up a little bit more because we're looking at having the windows for the wheelhouse installed in about 2 weeks' time. So the benefit of that means that we can actually then start to fit all the ventilation boxes for the air conditioning, and we can start to do more of the fit out of the wheelhouse. We've also got, at the moment, one of the guys is putting the camera in underneath there. I'll show you some actually, we walk past. They're that discreet, these little Furuno cameras, but basically we've got them set up around the vessel and in the engine room for more of a, keeping an eye on things. The exterior ones is probably, look, it can be used as a security measure as well, but generally, for the captain, if you're at anchor or something like that, he'll have a multi-function display down in his cabin. So he will have a channel there where he can pick up all the cameras around the boat, not in the cabins as such, but just out on the deck. So if there's guests out on the foredeck, the side decks, the cockpit, he can keep an eye on that sort of thing. And if someone gets in distress or falls over or whatever, we could be aware of it. I'll come out the side here now. Just wanted to show we finished off the coating of the teak, and this is now 24 coats of all craft or all wood. It's made by all grip, but it's all wood. 24 coats, it's a single pack. You can only do about 2 coats a day. You've got to wait 4 hours between coats. Because it's single pack, it cures by evaporation. So it's a little bit, I won't say tedious, it's just, that's the procedure. I'll upset the boys, but you can sort of see, and we do have a bit more video so you can see how it looked all there. But I've got to say, I don't think the, excuse my noise, I don't think the camera actually does it justice. The depth of gloss on this is incredible. It's going to look absolutely sensational once we start to get nearer completion and we can actually take all the wrapping off. We'll go forward, so you want to just let me pass and I'll show you up here. So we're in the coming weeks, I'm going to show you a new design we're going to do for the bow roller assembly. We were initially looking at putting the bow roller assembly up on the top here. was going to go on top here. We were going to run the teak tow roll into both sides. But what we're going to do now is we're going to investigate the option of continuing the teak tow roll right around the top and then putting a couple of flutes in the bow here. So they'll go into that section there. Both sides here. It's a nice polished stainless steel, and the ankles will actually go out through the bow. The benefit is it's going to give us better contact with the gypsy. And it's also I think it's just going to be a nicer look than having the anchors stuck up on the top here. So we'll do a mock-up and see how it looks, but I think that's the way we're going to go with that. Everything else is pretty much done on here. It's all been painted, it's all been protected. We do have a corian to go on the top of here, but we've covered all this in while we're doing the paintwork. So what you can see up here, that's one of the downlights. There's 3. You can see the other patches. And where the cross is at the back there, that's where we're going to be putting the other security camera. And like everything, it's a bit of a challenge because there's actually a reinforcing beam that goes straight down the center. So we've got to offset the hole a little bit. Well, when it gets mounted up, it's actually mounted on the center line, but it's just what happens when you're building boats. You just got to improvise, compromise, and overcome. We'll go back aft. I'll show you these couple of cameras, and we'll move inside. So here they are here. So on the transom here, we've got 3. So we've got this one here looking down the side deck. We've got another one here which will take care of the transom. And we've got another one here which is going to look up the starboard side deck. And then the hole we showed you earlier is the one on the bow. And then we've got some for the engine room. The electronics on this vessel, which I haven't touched on before, is all Furuno. It's the best, and that's what we're fitting on this boat. So we've got a lot of the latest gear from Furuno to go on, plus Starlink. We'll get onto that later. So we'll come through the boat again, the second trip. Last week we showed you the covers for the window boxes, and this is where they go here. So excuse the sawdust, it is a work site, but they'll be done in eggshell white. So that's the eggshell there, which looks quite brown at the moment, but when the light's on it, it's more of a cream colour. So the window boxes go over the top of that. There's another panel that goes down here, which will have silky oak planking on it. You can see the insulation that we're in the process of installing as well. And then just to your right there, that will get veneered here. So what we've been working on this week is these corner mouldings. So you'll see this here. This has all been joined together. So it comes down here, this comes out here and then fills in the gap there because there was a little bit of a gap between the end of the bed and the bulkhead, and you've got to allow for the veneer as well. So we've done that moulding, and you'll see the same on this side, which is here. Again, it comes down and then at radius it returns out to catch up with that, and then this will have silky oak veneer here. So basically the fore and aft bulkheads are silky oak. The side bulkhead here is going to be a combination of a vinyl and silky oak, and we're going to have a dado line running through here and down the passageway, so that will sort of all be in a line there. So below it will be silky oak and above it will be vinyl paneling, partly because we've got, we need access to the rear of the showers for the plumbing, and with vinyl panels we can have them on fast mounts, and we can pull the panels off, do any maintenance if we need to, changing washers and valves and things like that, and put the panel back on. If we do a full silky oak gloss finish, we can't get to it. So, you know, you've got to incorporate the maintenance side of the vessel as well when you're doing the construction, because you want to build something and think, oh shit, well, how do we service it now? You know, and things like plumbing, you know, taps, washers, that they break, they wear out, you've got to change them. So in that regard, we've got to make, you know, think ahead and make the boat maintainable. Right, this is the other twin berth cabin, which is basically a mirror image of the one I just showed you. Both cabins have en-suites, which we haven't done a lot of in here yet, other than insulation and the flooring and painting the bilges. Same here, you can see a bit more insulation being installed. And again, the same sort of window boxes and that in there. And the other thing, as I was pointing out in the other cabin, was we've been putting the mouldings in for here, because you've got it, there's a little bit of work that needs to be done to tie it all in down here and around the corner. And the same on the other side here. So it's just those little things that have got to be done by hand. And you see we've got the radius coming down and it returns out like this. Then there's a panel goes here, and then the veneer, which is your silky oak, that will fit into there. And that all fits in like that. And it all gets sealed and glued, and it all gets painted. And that's all going to be painted in the boat, because we can't really take it back off again. So what happens is we get the boat to a point, or the cabin rather, to a point where we're up to doing the paint finishing, and then what we do is we clean it all out, dry it, get it dust free it all, put some ventilation in, and then we start to do all the gloss coats, and we'll just do one cabin at a time. And I'll take you through to the owner's stateroom. We've got a lot covered up here. What we have been doing is actually levelling off all the deckheads. You can see all the filler that's on the bottom here. What that's for is so when we go to put the roofing panels on, or the deckhead, they're all level. So you run a string line from the front, fore and aft, and this is making sure that every point, these contact surfaces here, are all parallel. We've got the ensuite here. So again, all we've been doing in here is sealing up all the bulkheads and dinelling them. Basically not dinel, we're going to use a fiberglass cloth. Insulation again. Wood all. So toilet, shower, vanity unit, showing the plans. And this will have a porcelain panelling on the bulkheads, and a painted and faired deck head, and a teak and holly deck down on your feet. So that's about all I can show you for that one. Here we are up on the Flybridge, and I wanted to show you what we talked about in our last episode about the reconfiguration of the layout here. So it's now starting to happen, you actually see what's going on. So we're going to have like an island lounge here on both sides, a nice curve here. So what this is, that's a jig, so you can see the tape on it, so nothing sticks to it. And what we're doing is we're using a high bendable plywood, and that'll be layered, so you can see the different layers in there and more here. So we build that up to the same thickness here. Basically a little bit more to go. Then that will get fed, and then the whole lot gets fiberglassed and entombed, and then we can start boxing it out for our hatches and storage and that sort of stuff. Coming through here, you'll see this is the air hose and the electrical cabling for our air horn, which will be fitted on the other side here. And so if you want to stick your head over the top of the bulkhead here, you'll see, so there's a reservoir tank for the air horns and a compressor just below it. And the orange cable at the top there, that's the navigation light. There's a few other boxes in here as well, and what that's starting to become is, you'll see the bottom one, that will be the pan for the air unit, air handler to sit in, and then the other boxes is going to be basically where the ducts are going to go. So we're going to have these boxes here. There's going to be one just down here. There'll be another one on the other side, and that will have the big hose going into it to pump the air conditioning air, hot and cold, into the galley. And same sort of deal on this side. This one here will go about there. So basically the air hose is going to come up, or the duct, it's going to come up here. We're going to run across the top and basically pin it up on the underside of the combing here, because you need to be able to get in here to access it for maintenance. So we don't want to be crawling over air hose or ducting, because it's not that strong and you're going to crush it and destroy it, and that's not going to work. So we've got to do all of that yet. The cabinets, again, this is basically the same as the other side I showed you. So we'll have the cabinet cupboards here. We're going to design them so that we'll have a dedicated space for your pyrotechnics and your fire extinguisher and all your safety gear and first aid kit and stuff like that. And then we've got the other lounge, basically the same as the other side. So it's starting to come together now, so hopefully in a couple of more weeks we'll have more to show you up here.
And just so you know where we're located, where we're rebuilding this Halvorsen 70-foot timber beauty, we are located at the Port of Fremantle with the city of Perth up the river. If you watch this Google Earth animation, it gives you an idea where we are. For those enthusiasts that follow the America's Cup, Fremantle was the first location for the defence of the America's Cup in 1987 that was held outside of New York. It's also the birthplace of the replica of Captain Cook's Endeavour and the Age of Discovery Dutch vessel, the Doifken.